Welcome back to our course on Excel 2013. We've looked at sorting in Excel 2013, and in this section we're going to look at filtering. Now, when we looked at sorting, one of the main advantages of sorting is that it makes it easier to find what you're looking for if things are sorted into a sequence. If you have a very large amount of data, and of course bear in mind with Excel 2013 you may be dealing with even hundreds of thousands of rows of information, and each of those rows of information may indeed contain thousands of columns of information, then finding what you want can be a really big job. One of the tools available with Excel 2013 that helps with this is the use of filters, and in this section we're going to look at the basic ideas of filtering. The principle of filtering is that rather than look at all of the data in a particular set of data on a worksheet, you can identify data that satisfies certain filter criteria, and you can concentrate on those data. And what I'm going to do is to demonstrate that with 2 or 3 examples on this relatively small amount of data that we have here about the courses run at the local college. And of course, although this is a relatively small amount of data, everything that I show you here will be extendable to very much larger data sets as well. So let's look at what filtering allows us to do. In this case, I've selected all of the columns of data, and on the ribbon on the Data tab in the Sort and Filter group, we've already looked at the left hand part of that group with Sort in it. The right hand part we have Filter, and we're going to press the Filter button, the big button, and what that does is to switch on filtering for the selected cell or cells, which effectively means wherever you've got a cell selected, that column has a filter switched on. Now you know when there is a filter switched on, because if I click away you'll see these little drop downs in the top right hand corner of the headers, and if you click on a drop down, let's click on the drop down here at course title, what we get is a list of all the values in that column down here in the lower part. And in this case with the course titles, since the course titles are all different, it's basically a list of every value in that column. Now at the top of the list there is an option that says select all, and that's checked, and that means that every potential value in this column is selected. Now as far as filtering is concerned, when something is selected it appears in the display in Excel 2013. For this course title column, let me uncheck select all. Watch what happens. If I uncheck select all, everything is deselected. There's nothing selected at all in this column. If I now check one individual checkbox, the first one, AAT L2 accounting full time, just check that and click on OK. Watch what happens. All I see is the row that has AA2 LT accounting full time as the course title. That's the only one that applies. Now look carefully at all the little drop down buttons. The one on column A is different from the others. It's changed from just being a drop down to a picture of a filter. This is like in chemistry at school. It's a filter, and that little symbol means we're filtered on that column. We've selected to only show AAT L2 accounting full time. Okay, let's go back into that same filter again, and this time let's select the first 3. Click on OK. You should be able to guess what's going to happen here. Of course we see those, but note this one here, we've found that we've got one name used twice. There is in fact a course called AAT L3 Accounting, which has got the code with G11 at the end, and we've got another one, AAT L3 Accounting, but a different course code, so it's not the same course, it's got a different code, same start date, same time, same fee, etc. So the college is running that same course concurrently, but 2 classes. Probably it's a course that's in high demand and they're running the course twice. So you can see one of the great advantages there of filtering, in that we've found that one particular course is running twice, and when we applied the filter it appeared twice. Now, in the case of column A, we're dealing with a text column. What's in there is basically free text. But there's a lot of flexibility in what you can do in filtering. So far, let me just click on that filter again. So far, we've looked at selecting from the actual course titles that appear in the column. But just above this list, we have a search box. So if you're looking for a particular title, maybe you've got a very, very long list of potential course titles here, you can do a search in there. But you can also apply filters that are specifically designed to be used with text. Now let me give you an example. If I hover over text filters, you can see equals, does not equal, begins with, ends with, contains, does not contain. I can even build up custom filters. Let me take a specific example. Let's look at contains. Supposing I want to find a row where the course title contains the word accounting. So I can just say find me all the ones where the course title contains accounting. Click on OK. And I've now got from that list every course that contains accounting. Similarly, if I went in again, text filters, I could say begins with AAT. Click on OK, and there we are. So I can build up text filters in quite a complex way like that, and it's a very flexible and powerful way of filtering. So we've done some filtering there on course title. When we finish filtering on one of the particular columns, you can just say clear filter from course title, and we're back to looking at the complete set of data. Let's look at filtering on one of the other columns. Let's try start date. Start date is obviously a date field, and date fields have their own specific filters as well. So again, if I click on the drop down, I'll see a list of the available dates, but it's not a straightforward list day by day. The way that this list works is that we see a list by year, within the year by month, and then within the month we'll look at the specific dates. So in this case, if I do deselect all and I'm looking for the start date of a course, I could say, well, let's have a look and see what's available in August. So I've got an August the 1st start date. The other start dates are September the 5th and September the 12th. Supposing I thought, well, I want to look for the courses that start on September 12th. Click that, click on OK, and I will only see the courses that start on September 12th. Again, back into the filter for that. Let me go back to select all, and now let's look at these date filters above here. And the date filters, there's quite a long list really. We've got equals, a date before, a date after, a date between two other dates, tomorrow, today, yesterday, next week, this week, last week, as well as custom filters for dates. So when it comes to filtering on dates, you've got a very wide selection to choose from. So let me just clear the filter on dates. We're back to seeing the full list of courses again. Now when it comes to time, again we can do filtering on time. We could also filter either on the number of weeks or the fee. These are numeric fields and they have also a very good set of filters available. Supposing I only want a short course on accounting. Let's suppose that I go for course title. I'm going to say text filters contains, and then it's going to contain the word accounting. Click on OK, and then what I'm going to do as far as weeks are concerned, which is a numeric field, number filters. Let's say I want to do one that is less than or equal to 24 weeks. I want to do an accounting course that is at most 24 weeks long. Click on OK, and I find that there are 3. I can see the fees, start dates, etc. So there I've filtered on 2 columns at once. So that's how to apply and use filters on multiple columns in a worksheet, and particularly when you're dealing with large worksheets, I'm sure you're going to find that the tools related to filters are really going to help you and really going to save a lot of time. Now, one or two other things to note about filtering. One of them is when you've finished using filters, you can go along selectively and clear the filters on each of the columns where you still have a filter applied. But there's a command up here that does clear. And this big button here is the one you use to switch filtering off altogether so that all of those drop downs disappear in the opposite way to the way they appeared earlier on in this section. So click that button again, filtering is switched off, and you can no longer see any of the drop downs. There is also an option here for advanced filtering, but that's outside the scope of this course, but maybe one you should investigate if you're dealing with the sort of volumes and types of data where filtering is really going to help you. So that's the end of our review of the basic features of filtering in Excel 2013. I'll see you in the next section.